lot of time in this culture, we measure who we are based on our monetary value,
right?
The money that we bring to the table.
Right.
But I like to stop and ask other people, and I got to ask myself this as well. If money didn't exist, how would you gauge your value? What would you base your value off of?
It's a good question.
You got to answer.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I think it's who you are and who you're becoming. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what are you measuring that against? Are you measuring that against what other people are becoming, or the one who made you in the first place?
There you go. Because he doesn't change.
He doesn't change.
But the standards of the world changes constantly. Trends change constantly. Yeah. So people are out here trying to keep up with a moving target all the time.
By the time you hit that, it's something else.
Something else.
Right. And it depends on what your standard is. Like whatever
you have to have.
Whatever your standard is. So
yeah.
If your measurement is money, you know what I mean, then you're gonna always be trying to keep up.
Yep.
Like you'll never make enough.
It's a carrot you never catch.
You can be comfortable, but you're never gonna make enough money.
Yeah, what Rockefeller said is how much is enough? He said just a little more.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You'll never make enough. So a lot of it's based on your standard. So if your standard is if your standard is Christ, then you'll be able to measure that. But if you're constantly trying to measure up to this person, that person, this person's standards, you're gonna always come up short.
Absolutely,
always come up short. Absolutely. And even when it comes to the ministry piece, like you're gonna always come up short, especially even if you have your own standards.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this, or I don't pray like this person does. Mm-hmm. I don't have a good understanding of the Bible like this person does.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, you know what? I really ain't ready for that. I'm not ready for that title. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you are really ready for the title. Mm-hmm. But it's about now, once you get it, what do you do with it and how do you handle it? You know, I think, like you said, a lot of people get a title, man, they just go overboard.
Yeah, they go nuts with it. Because they feel like they got to meet their
standard. That tells what's in their heart too, though.
Yes.
That tells what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Because if you a terrible person, broke, when you get money, it's going to amplify that.
Yeah, man.
If you're a good person, it'll amplify that. Yeah. You can do those things that was in your heart to do for people. Yeah. Otherwise, if you are a narcissistic person, how can I win? How can I, you feel what I'm saying? There's so many people who are so poor that all they have is money.
Yeah, man.
And it's much more to life, things, family. It's much more to things than just that green piece of paper.
Yeah, man, opportunity and exposure and all of that, like I said, just amplifies who you are. Mm-hmm. I was listening on the way here, like a clip of a show, and they were talking about some artists that, y'all know their names, but like they having a little Twitter war or whatever, right? Going back and forth, X war, whatever. It's not Twitter.
It's X.
So does that make them X-Men? Let's go.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Glad y'all came.
Yeah.
But now they was going back and forth, and it was like, I hate to see this, man, we supposed to be mature, and But I'm like, have y'all listened to their music? Like, you can't expect people to make childish music to act like mature adults.
Dang, that's
you know what
true.
I'm saying? Like, their music is just, I mean, they grown, they should be mature, but everything about them is starting this.
It's double-minded, bro.
But you expect when stuff go down that they gonna act like mature adults?
Nah.
Like, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The music they made, that's who they are.
Good.
So like, it's like, and if they're putting on a face that's not who they are, they're lying and that's who they are.
Absolutely.
So like, the opportunity I have is getting magnified in front of everybody to be messy and all that. And that's what I thought about when you said that. When you said that about it's just going to amplify the situation. Like it just puts out there who you are. Yep. Like the biggest question is not the title you have, not the money you have, but who are you becoming?
Yes.
And what's your goal for who you're becoming? Because if who I'm becoming is just to be a successful businessman and follow after this guy, or just to have this type of relationship, or just to have this type of car, or be like whatever. Like when that stuff doesn't matter anymore, you get it.
Yeah.
Then what, right?
Then what?
When you reach the goal and it doesn't fulfill the hole in your soul, then what?
What's next?
What's next? Now you got
A lot of rich people want to kill themselves because of that crossroads.
If that was the goal, man, like you wouldn't have anybody jumping out of buildings when the stock market changed.
That's a fact.
So like something is woefully missing in what we think life is.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna look at it, like I'm not gonna look to the universe, this inanimate thing that's just, active. I'm not gonna look to material things. I'm gonna look to the one who made it in the first place.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I want the manufacturer.
At least investigate is there a maker out there before I put my heart somewhere else? Because at least do an honest investigation about that and ask the real existential questions about what that
That's a fact. If something broken on your car, you're not going to bring it to the refrigerator shop. Right. You know what I'm saying? I need to take it to who made this.
With a manual.
And again, if you don't believe that there's a maker at that point, you have to ask that question. Like, why does this work like this? And people do ask that question. Like, why am I here? What you have to ask, what made me like this?
Why is everybody still asking that question as much as we've tried to eliminate God from the picture? We're still asking the same question. Like, why am I here? Why do I matter? Like if the answer was all these other things, we wouldn't be asking the question over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There was a point made about, well, if God is good and why is evil there? We're like, yeah, well, if there's evil, then there must be good. Absolutely. Well, yeah, if there's good, there must be a moral law that we base evil and good off of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense, right and wrong. But if there's a moral law, there's got to be a moral lawgiver for the moral law to make sense.
Somebody set it in place.
Right. But if there's no moral lawgiver, there's no moral law. If there's no moral law, there's no good, there's no evil. What are you complaining about?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it all goes back to here, but we want to get there without this.
Absolutely.
And that's just not how it works, man. So like,